Welcome to Unboxing. My name is Rafael Escobedo, and on this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about the results and aftermath of Paulie Malignaggi versus Danny Garcia.
People come up.
And let's go ahead and just talk about the whole main event. Daniel Jacobs versus Sergio Mora. Daniel Jacobs, he was up and coming box sideline. He had cancer. He overcame that. He came back and started winning some fights. Now he's out there at 160 pounds division. And he has the WBA World Middleweight title at 160 pounds. He hasn't really fought that many people. The only person he actually fought was any good. He actually lost to against Dimitri Pirog. And he got KO in the 5th round. Since then, he hasn't been really fighting any fighters up there in the top. I know they're kind of babysitting because he's trying to come back, fading off almost a year from having beaten cancer. But now he got the belt. So go ahead and just talk about the fight. Daniel Jacobs ended up knocking down Sergio Mora in the 1st round. Daniel Jacobs is pretty strong, but it's going to show again also Sergio Mora. He's just not the fighter he used to be. At the same time, he's also an awkward fighter. So if you've seen the previous fights, he kind of does have the boring, awkward fighting. Pretty much what Sergio Mora hasn't really had that many fights. And then he comes to fight Daniel Jacobs to go ahead and prove himself. He's ready to fight. Even though he's been active in the past year, he's able to get knocked down by Daniel Jacobs. Then again, he came back and knocked down Daniel Jacobs. Mora was able to give him a knockdown in the 1st round after rebounding back after Daniel Jacobs knocked him down. Still not showing what's going on there. If it's actually Sergio Mora is actually that good or Daniel Jacobs not that good, then he got knocked down by Sergio Mora, who hasn't really fought any fighters in this previous record. In the last fight he fought Abraham Hahn, in which Sergio Mora also went down on the 10th round on that one. But he won it by split decision. So he was able to fight Daniel Jacobs for his belt. Ended up being the 2nd round. They went ahead. You still don't know what's going on between them, but Daniel Jacobs didn't look so great himself because he got knocked down by Sergio Mora, but at the same time, he was able to still continue the fight in the 2nd round. And he just ended up being that Sergio Mora his leg just ended up giving up on him. He twisted his ankle. He must have landed wrong. And Daniel Jacobs kind of put his body into it. And that was pretty much it. He said he heard a snap 2nd round. Sergio went down. He wasn't able to continue. They went ahead and give it a TKO for Daniel Jacobs. Most time in the previous fights, I think with Pat Dawson and Bernal Hawkins, it was actually no contest, and an awkward injury happened like that. Rematch, really don't care for it, but I wouldn't mind seeing Daniel Jacobs go ahead and fight Peter Quillin and see who was a real 160-pound champions. And after that, they could probably see they get a fight with whoever wins that David Lemieux and G. Daniel Jacobs went ahead and ignored that, get a rematch. You want to go back, which is part of the smart business thing to do. Let's go ahead and go to the main event. Danny Garcia versus Paulie Malignaggi. Danny Garcia's first fight at 147. If you heard my predictions before, how Paulie Malignaggi has been fighting 147 for a while, and probably a little bit more sturdier than probably people think at 147. Danny Garcia went up at 147. You've seen his body. He does have his arms got a little bit bigger, his back got a little bit bigger. So that his size actually did get a little bit bigger when he went to 147. He had to dehydrate and cut so much water. We're trying to see also how his power is going to go up at 147. Starting off the round, Danny Garcia started off pretty good, jabbing, boxing, throwing those left hooks. Paulie Malignaggi wasn't really doing nothing out of the fight. He was jabbing here and there, but he did have a moment when he did uppercut Danny Garcia when he came inside. And just kind of show how what Paulie Malignaggi is at in his career. He didn't look so great. He didn't do nothing really to try and take control of the fight. And Danny Garcia was just throwing out, landing him. A lot of things you've seen wrong kind of with Danny Garcia was kind of sluggish. His punching percentage wasn't all that great. His punches were wide open. Paulie Malignaggi could see it coming, but he still got hit by him. Danny Garcia did have some good moments in the 8th round. He was able to throw a lot of punches landed on Paulie Malignaggi, which messed up his eye. And if you see there, the punches landed on, they messed up Paulie Malignaggi a little bit more on the eye. And that was coming from Danny Garcia's hooks. So a little bit powerful, but they weren't as fast as they used to be. I mean, you try and count his last fight with Lamont Peterson because he kind of didn't look so great there either. Punches are not coming together. His swiftness that he's considering himself to be called Danny Swift Garcia is not showing in the 147 pounds. I'm not sure if something that he bulked up or he didn't take Paulie Malignaggi seriously, but just the performance looked so great. And then when he tried to throw the right hand, he kind of like bring his right foot over, square himself up against Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi probably didn't do nothing with it, but say better opponents with Keith Thurman, somebody like that would probably get a good punch on Danny Garcia. So he needs to go back and hit the gym and see if he could overcome that, get his little swiftness back, because he needs to rely more on that quickness. 147, if his power is there and the other 147 pounders got that strong punching power, his edge is going to have his speed and he needs to show it up there. And his endurance was kind of not so great. Even by the round 5th or 6th round, you could kind of see him all sluggish, slow down, burn up. And Paulie Malignaggi wasn't even moving like Lamont Peterson. He was getting tired. Paulie Malignaggi is a more bigger body. Paulie Malignaggi wasn't even landing nothing, putting his body on him, anything like that to make him get burn out or anything like that. But he had those big, wide, looping hooks. Straight, he should land more, which his dad was telling him was correct. He could have landed that right and had Paulie Malignaggi down a little bit earlier. It just didn't come right. It didn't come straight. It just didn't look right. So he probably has to do a little bit more working out and stop chasing those chickens. I'm not sure how much of a real workout that is, but that has nothing to do with boxing. I don't think it was like a serious training thing. Probably just a little joke. Another fight not being so great for Danny Garcia. I don't see him fighting anybody at 147 right now. The top dogs, Keith Thurman, Amir Khan, Bob Brook. He still needs to work on his punches, his little quickness, and see how he could carry the way he used to fight at 140, 147. Really He hasn't been fighting so great, even at 140 recently. Missing the Danny Garcia, the way he beat Amir Khan, the way he beat Lucas Matisi. You haven't been seeing that in the last couple of fights. Even Amir Khan, even though he beat Amir Khan, I don't think he's ready to fight Amir Khan again. You never know. That probably actually bring in some pretty good money right there in New York. Amir Khan and Danny Garcia. Something's kind of a little scary for Al Heyman. That being that Danny Garcia is supposed to be one of his top dogs, but it ends up being looked like it's Keith Thurman. But even Keith Thurman's not looking so great in the last fight against Luis Colasso. So it's pretty hard how everything is going for Al Heyman, who's his top fighters right now. It'd probably be Peter Quinn when you look at it. Al Heyman does have other better fighters than them, but just the ones that are right now up there in the public eye. I predicted for Danny Garcia to beat Paulie Malignaggi in the 8th round. He ended up doing it in the 9th. I just expected more from him, and he didn't see it. Hopefully he's able to go back to the gym and work on some of that stuff, his throwing his right hands and stop keeping those open hooks. I'm not sure if he was taking Paulie Malignaggi a little bit lightly. For Paulie Malignaggi, that's pretty much it for him. You could tell he's not capable of fighting. If they offer him money, he's going to keep on taking fights, but that's up to Heyman, the TV networks that want to go ahead and have those fights. Expected a little bit more for Danny Garcia, but that didn't happen. Hopefully next time he's able to be a little bit more the Swift Garcia that everybody knew when he was up there at 140 pounds. Please check out my video on the top 5 fighters I have right now. It's the June 2015. That's pound for pound. Link for the videos will be in the description below. And thank you for Ant Boxing. If you want to go ahead and leave any comments, discuss, go ahead and do that. Please like and please subscribe.